Hi, I'm Dr. Dave Janda. Welcome back to Operation Freedom Briefings. The goal of these briefings in my weekly radio show, Operation Freedom, which airs every Sunday from 2 to 5 Eastern, you can stream it live. All you have to do is go to davejanda.com, hit the Listen Live button. It will take you to Wham Talk 1600 streaming service. Hit play, and you are there with us. Great analysis, great guests, information that the bought-off lamestream fake media will not touch. Every Sunday from 2 to 5 Eastern. The goal of this platform is to provide you information that the deep state's tentacles, the bought-off lamestream fake media, will not provide. Our goal is to empower you. We empower you by bringing you information you're not going to get through the lamestream. The title of today's presentation is The Deep State's Control Mechanism. They have many mechanisms, but their prime mechanism is what they do by garnering information to then use for bribery, blackmail, coercion. Jonathan Turley, professor of law at George Washington University, not exactly a Trump supporter, yet he testified on behalf of President Trump during his impeachment hearings because he was going with the rule of law as opposed to the deep state's rule of chaos. Jonathan Turley stepped up yet again. And here is what he said. Remember, on this platform, for well over 3 years, we have outlined how the Obama administration illegally surveilled not just then citizen Donald Trump, then President-elect Trump, then President Trump, but General Flynn, judges, business leaders, political opponents, and thousands of Americans that the Obama administration saw as being, I guess you could call them subversives in their minds. People that were not going along with the deep state plan. Well, Jonathan Turley had the courage to write the following in The Hill this past week. Headline, Turley blasts media's willful blindness to Obama's criminal spying. You see, it's getting tougher to cover up for the illegality. And the reason is because many individuals who probably, if you talked to them a year ago, said, well, I wouldn't come forward about that. I'm a bit concerned about the ramifications, have now become fed up. And they see our country is on the line. And they're taking a stand. I believe one of those people is Jonathan Turley. Here's what he wrote in The Hill. The Washington press corps seems engaged in a collective demonstration of the legal concept of willful blindness or deliberately ignoring the facts, following the release of yet another declassified document, which directly refutes prior statements about the investigation into Russian collusion. It is astonishing that the media refuses to see what is one of the biggest stories in decades. The Obama administration targeted the campaign of the opposing party based on false evidence. The media covered Obama administration officials ridiculing the suggestions of spying on the Trump campaign and of improper conduct with the Russian investigation. I want to take you back in time. Two incredible patriots, Admiral Ace Lyons and General Tom McInerney, who have been regulars on our Operation Freedom platform, came on our live radio show. General McInerney did with the support of Admiral Lyons on that day, on March 19th, 2017. And they brought information forward for the first time on radio or TV about the illegal surveillance done by the Obama administration. Not just what was done with illegal use through the NSA system. Now, the Obama administration and other administrations before them were notorious for abuse of the NSA system. We've known this since 2001. The incredible freedom fighters, whistleblowers, who have been regular guests on this platform as well, Bill Binney and Kirk Wiebe, resigned from the NSA, and Bill was the technical director. You can't get any higher than that. Technical director of the NSA resigned in October 2001, 19 years ago, saying, look, the NSA database is being abused on a myriad of different fronts. This is information that Bill brought forward and Kirk 19 years ago. They were punished. Robert Mueller was the FBI director. If you want to know how they're punished, on the top part of this YouTube channel, Operation Freedom, is an interview I did with Bill and Kirk. I've done a number of them, but this is the highlighted interview. You need to listen to that. As punishment for telling the truth, Mueller sent agents into their homes. Bill was walking out of the shower. An agent put a gun to his head. That was just the beginning of the abuse that they had for having the audacity to tell the truth. But it's only gotten worse. The abuse of the NSA system is a well-documented fact, but it's no new news. As I said, Bill and Kirk outed that 19 years ago. Yet there are people that claim that's where the only abuse occurred. You see, when Bill and Kirk devised that NSA platform, they had it so that you had to do a reporting system, not only on papers, but what they actually did is they have a log system embedded within the platform so that if somebody starts snooping around, and let's say they don't fill out the 702 forms, there's still documentation of their illegal criminal conduct of illegally surveilling somebody in the log files of that platform that they created for the NSA. Which is what's then happened next was even more sinister that General McInerney and Admiral Lyons spoke about. That there was another set of platforms called parallel platforms where there was no internal log system reporting system if somebody commandeered it and started snooping on other individuals illegally. And that's exactly what happened, as General McInerney and Admiral Lyons pointed out on March 19, 2017. That Obama, Brennan, and Clapper had taken a surveillance system that had been used to monitor terrorists internationally, that system called the HAMR. They commandeered it and used it for their own private use. They privatized the system. And the problem for all of us freedom-loving Americans was that there was no internal reporting system on that, unlike the NSA system. So they could snoop, get information so that they could bribe, blackmail, coerce individuals, and there was no documentation internally in the system that they did it. It was a huge, not only abuse of power, but a huge criminal act. And the first people that blew this open were investigative journalists Mary Fanning and Alan Jones in early March of 2017. And the first time it hit the radio or TV was when General McInerney, with the support of Admiral Lyons, came on Operation Freedom on March 19, 2017. And I can tell you, the deep state ramifications of them doing that was significant. A tremendous amount of blowback. And in fact, since that point in time, the deep state and their, I don't know, what do you want to call them, puppets, have taken extraordinary efforts to block the information from reaching the public about the illegal surveillance activities. But we kept persevering. And so did all those who wanted this to come forward. Let's talk about those that supported and documented the existence of the HAMR. One of the individuals, the individual who created the HAMR, who became a whistleblower. This is the person who has been demonized by a number of people. Dennis Montgomery. He's been demonized because he showed the CIA, because this is a CIA-run operation, that's not supposed to be involved in domestic affairs, had actually violated their charter, a criminal offense in and of itself. This is why he's been demonized. He's outed, exposed the CIA. And a number of folks have come forward to defame and slander and libel him. All because he had the audacity to tell what the CIA was doing, led by John Brennan. And Obama and Clapper were also in the soup. But other individuals that have supported the existence of the HAMR have been General Tom McInerney, Admiral Ace Lyons, world-renowned surveillance platform experts and whistleblowers, Bill Binney and Kirk Wiebe. Just look at the interview I spoke to you about on the top part of this channel. IT expert Paul Rosenberg, investigative journalists Mary Fanning and Alan Jones, and their military intelligence sources. In addition, there's some other documentation. Former Director of National Intelligence John Negroponte invoked what was called the state secrets privilege, secondary to national security protection issues, on Dennis Montgomery due to his work on the HAMR. State secrets privilege, in a nutshell, says, Montgomery, if you talk to anybody in the press or anybody about this surveillance platform, you are going to prison. It's beyond a muzzle, folks. The Department of Justice provided 2 levels of immunity to Montgomery, secondary to his work on the HAMR and turning over information. Former General Counsel to the FBI, James Baker, testified under oath before Congress in October of 2018. He documented the existence of the HAMR and it being used for illegal surveillance by government, quote, by government officials on other government officials and American citizens, end quote. Doug Collins, the congressman from Georgia, released that information on the floor of Congress. If it were not for him, we'd never know about it. WikiLeaks, in addition, published the CIA hacking tools in their Vault 7 release, which included the HAMR. We actually, on our platform, had a dozen IT experts go through that release from WikiLeaks. They all confirmed the HAMR was identified and noted in the Vault 7 release. There has been one incredible freedom fighter who has brought this to TV. The deep state does not want this out there because it automatically brings down their little puppets, Obama, Brennan, and Clapper. Boom. Sidney Powell, on May 21st, 2020, went on Fox Business News, spoke about the HAMR. And she did it again last week. Let me play for you. Let's see if we can pull this off. Let me play for you Sidney Powell. She was being interviewed by Elizabeth McDonald. And here's what she said.
So this is massive abuses of power under the Obama administration, deeper and more widespread than people may realize. Because, Sydney, there's also this story. A nonprofit watchdog group on privacy and surveillance, former House Judiciary Chair Bob Goodlatte, he's a Republican out of Virginia, he's a senior advisor now advising them. They're hitting the office of the DNI with FOIA requests. They want to know about whether intelligence officials under the Obama administration were spying on, did surveillance, and unmasking of 48 current and former members of Congress. These are members of Congress from January 2008 to January 15, 2020. Senator Rand Paul tweeted about that 3 years ago saying, yeah, he thought he was being spied on and unmasked. Your reaction to that?
Well, don't forget, John Brennan was spying on members of Congress with CIA assets and NSA tools of electronic surveillance. They were spying on anybody they wanted to spy on. And then Brennan also formed this thing called a fusion cell, or the HAMR, or whatever people want to call it, that was used to just explode surveillance information and activity over all kinds of Americans, particularly Congress. And in fact, I've been told even I was surveilled several years ago.
So that's the danger Senator Grassley and Republicans are talking about, that we do not, the Republicans are saying we don't want to turn into East Germany where we're spying and snitching on each other. And that if they could do it to General Flynn, they could do it to all of us. Your word on that?
Exactly. And they have been doing it on all of us, Liz. That is what all needs to be uncovered and explored and exposed for the American public to know how bad the surveillance state has been and is. And it's only gotten worse. And this COVID mess is only going to make it worse. That's part of the contact tracing. I find extremely objectionable, all of it. It's way too much government intrusion in what is supposed to be a free society.